Hello, my fellow educators, and welcome to the Teaching Methods Field Experience course. I am your professor, Dr. Claudine Bentham, and it is a pleasure having you in my class first and foremost. I wanted to start off in that way. Typically, my videos, which you will receive pretty much weekly for the most part, especially at the very beginning of the semester and towards the latter part, I tend to combined both weeks together. So just be mindful of that. I try not to have lengthy videos. That's bad practice, but because this is a major course which requires for you to complete it successfully in order to receive your certification, I do have to take my time to go over specifics and to make sure that you're paying attention. As educators, typically what tends to happen, we're grading, we're trying to get work done, we're trying to do X, Y, and Z in terms of our personal life, and then we overlook the important details as relates to like our graduate courses, or in this case, the EPI course, okay, which is your final capstone course. So I want to go over the course syllabus. I have several things highlighted that I would like to address. So please make sure that you are paying attention. First and foremost, just keep in mind that I do typically respond to the text format quite often. There are a lot of features with Remind where I can leave a voice message, especially if I'm driving or if I am walking to my class or what have you, or to a meeting. I can quickly just leave a message rather than texting. So there's different facets of the Remind app that I like to use, but I would prefer that or email. Email, unfortunately, I do not check it often during the weekend. I spend quality time with my family because that's very important. So I just want to make sure that you understand if there's an emergency during the weekend, you can text me and remind. I can quickly send you a quick response to it, whether I'm at soccer practice with my kids or what have you. But I do spend quality time with my children, so just be mindful of that. I have four kids, so it's a lot that I have on my plate. Um, with my office hours, I have multiple roles here at the college, and so I do have limited office hours. However, you can see here, these are my office hours, and on Fridays, I typically do online office hours, okay? Uh, Following that, I want to remind you that this is a hybrid class. And so on April 6th, you are required to come here at the West Campus. And I will give you specifics pertaining to that. But it's important to make sure that you do attend the face-to-face Teach Live session. And many of you experienced Teach Live already, so you know what that's all about. And I will give you additional information pertaining to it when the time comes. All right. With your assignments, be mindful of the fact that there are some assignments that must be submitted through Canvas, and then there are other assignments that must be submitted through Task Stream. So again, for the most part, you're familiar with Task Stream. We know what that's all about. So just make sure that you adhere to what's in red, and that relates to Task Stream. And the other assignments would be assignments that you would upload in Canvas. Okay. And again, we have Teach Live. Oh, I do want to address one more thing, even though it's not highlighted. In reference to your teaching demonstration where I come in and observe your class, please make sure that there's only one person so far who emailed me, I believe yesterday, indicating that, or the day before, indicating that he, is beyond 30 miles, okay, in terms of the proximity to the West Campus. So please make sure that you do let me know that you are beyond the 30 mile limit, okay? So that I can have it on my radar. Okay, so another thing I wanted to address, and I've seen this a lot. This is like my second time teaching this course. And it's important to understand that we are audited, okay? Your work is reviewed, and it's important to adhere to the specific guidelines. So in reference to the MLA format, please make sure that you do follow those guidelines. And typically, again, teachers are just on the go. As educators, we're on the go, we're busy. But it's important to make sure that you show that you're competent in your writing, and MLA is the format that you need to use. Okay, so Times New Roman, the font needs to be 12, double space, not triple space, or what have you. For most of the assignments, okay, there are some or a couple of assignments that's a little bit different, and in the instructions it tells you how to lay out your information, but for the most part, it should be MLA. All right. Now, in reference to feedback, if you want specific feedback in terms of like, hey, what do you think about this or X, Y, and Z, please ask me, because I noticed that, and I can tell on Canvas. Some of you who are familiar with Canvas, you used it last semester as teachers, as educators, so you know what I'm talking about. I can tell or track if you're actually looking at my feedback, and I don't like wasting time. So the kind of feedback that I would typically give back is, hey, you did not do the MLA format, or you're missing this particular component as it relates to, the assignment, and so on. But if you want specific feedback in terms of, let's say, the resume assignment, like, hey, I really want to make sure that I'm up to par with my CV or my cover letter or whatever, please let me know so I can give you specific feedback towards that. But I hate devoting time to going, very elaborate and explicit on the feedback, and then professors or teachers, educators do not refer back to it or even review it. They're just like, okay, I got my 100 or I got my A. Great, I'm good to go. Okay, so please make sure that you contact me. Attendance, just make sure that you attend the Teach Live, as I had noted before, but it's important as educators that you're constantly logging into Canvas, and I can check from my end whether or not that you've been logging in. Okay, so please make sure that you are constantly checking your announcements, constantly logging into Canvas. Again, you need to make sure that you have access to all your materials. So please make sure that you're responsible for your assignments and being mindful of what needs to be done. If you are behind, or if you are not assigned to a school, please let me know. I already had, I think, 1 or 2 people who contacted me, and that's great. But again, please let me know if there's some kind of problem that you're having in terms of completing, your assignments, because a lot of the assignments are based on application, or 99.9% are based on you having to apply certain strategies, components, and other elements to your class, okay, like surveys and whatnot. So I need to be notified if you're not assigned to a particular class, okay? All right. And, in reference to late assignments, I will drop your grade if you're excessively late. So it's important to notify me. Okay. It's really easy to get an A in this class if you're submitting your work on time in X, Y, and Z. But if you're really behind, you have to communicate with me. But I will drop your grade if you are excessively late. All right. This is again talking about MLA, withdrawal. I'm not going to insult your intelligence because I know you can read, but I want to make sure that you are paying attention to key things that will help you in reference to completing this course successfully. Here, again, I'm just reemphasizing what I mentioned before, and you'll be surprised. Some of you are probably saying, well, why wouldn't you write at a competent level? And we do get that. And the reason being, not to judge anyone, sometimes as educators, we're inundated with tons of grading, tons of other things that are happening. So that can happen, but you have to keep in mind that we do have audits, and they will check your work. We need to make sure that you're receiving your certification from a credible program. So if we just let you do whatever, we're laxed on in terms of your submission and the kind of work that you're submitting in, there's no credibility there. Okay, there's no sense of rigor at all. All right. Now, the course calendar, mainly all of the assignments for the most part will be due on Sunday. I will try to grade throughout the week or during the week, but normally the following week is when I grade. So like, let's say January 13th, week 1 assignments are due. During the week of, January 13th, I will be grading, right? Your assignments, okay? But just keep that in mind, all right? Secondly, if you do submit an assignment late, again, you have to let me know. And just keep in mind that, need to use this as a checkoff list to ensure that you complete the assignments. Um, and I'll let you know if I need to change any dates because of, whatever the situation is. But I think for the most part, we're good in terms of the dates, but I will definitely communicate with you. Again, I will send out weekly announcements pertaining to the assignments. There is an assignment that I want to address, the discussion post, where you are, helping out your colleagues in terms of any kind of concerns that they have within their classroom, in terms of implementing like something like differentiated instruction or what have you. So you're giving some kind of resource, some kind of insight pertaining to it, and we're using pertaining to the discussion, excuse me, and we're using Padlet as our platform. And so what I want you to do, as noted in the instructions here, is just to make sure that you post your name or type your name so I can give you credit for that particular assignment. And normally I do not give you credit until later on in the semester. So there will be a lag in terms of whether or not you have a grade, because I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to post their assignments. It's a twofold assignment, and you'll see that later on. Um, Please make sure that for the Google Doc, I need to have your contact information, so complete that. You just have to select the link and it brings you to the Google Doc form. And a lot of you had completed that thus far. The doodle poll, again, many of you, you know who you are. For the past 3 days, I've been getting announcements indicating that, hey, this person completed the doodle poll. This is to schedule time in terms of the demonstration where I will come into your classroom to observe and to give you feedback. And I'll talk more about that. Again, I do not want to have a 20-minute video because again, your attention span, it's going to dwindle after a while. But if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Again, on a week by week basis, I will be, sending out weekly video announcements. So just be mindful of that. Be on the lookout for it. And sometimes you will be quizzed on it. So I'm just letting you know. If I see that a lot of you are not paying attention to the instructions, I will change, because in my course syllabus, it notes that I can change the assignments if I want to. And I am that kind of professor. If I see that, you know what, some people are not paying attention to the videos or just overlooking them, I will start, requiring you to complete quizzes along the way. I am that person. All right, so that's pretty much it. I will talk to you later. And again, just please make sure you review all of the assignments that are in front of you here. I'm not going to belabor it too much in terms of what's due because I will give you weekly video announcements. So take care. You have a wonderful rest to your week, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.